Hi guys, welcome. This week I'm going to talk about accountability because it's been on my mind because I'm personally not holding myself accountable for literally anything that I'm doing in my life. And after last week when I talked about how to be hot and confident, I saw a TikTok and the people were like discussing what I'd said and they were like, no, she's wrong because it's never your fault if you got cheated on and yada yada yada. So I thought I would elaborate because I'm actually never wrong. So you're wrong for thinking that I'm wrong. So let me tell you why that is. I'm just kidding, but you are wrong though. Okay, so listen, right? Being accountable as a good person. Okay, getting hurt by other people, letting shitty people into your life, etc., etc. Making mistakes, whether you've made them once or a million times, it's not gonna make you a bad person. And I want to preface this whole video with that. Like, it doesn't make you a bad person. It just kind of makes you a less effective one. And I risk sounding like a man with a fucking microphone when I say that. But what I mean is, like, you are so entitled to your own mistakes and you're never going to learn if you don't make them. Like, you're entitled to make loads of errors before you figure out the basics of life, because that's what I'm fucking doing, right? I genuinely started from rock bottom with my knowledge of the world. Like, I dated probably the worst person I could have dated for my first relationship, and it only incrementally got better from there on out. Like, I've had 4 relationships. One doesn't really count because it was like I was too young, but anyways, I'd say 4 relationships that like had any kind of like effect on me as a human being. I'm telling you, this much better from each before them. Like, I learned, but fucking barely. Like, barely. And it doesn't make me a bad person, it just makes me slightly intolerable to be around. Not only are my friends like, is this bitch ever gonna learn, and are we ever gonna be able to have an original conversation with her, but it's also just like, you are responsible for yourself progressing in life. You're responsible after a certain point for your education, for your health, for your financial status. You're responsible for your relationships. You're responsible for the cleanliness of your home. It's all you. Like, no one's fucking coming. Like, no one's gonna help you out after age, I don't know, if you're lucky, they'll help you till you're 16, then you're on your own. But like, most people, it's gonna be before that, and you have to just figure it out. So like, make every mistake in the book and learn from it if that's where you have to start from, because for me it's like I was born with no fucking innate knowledge in my head. Like, some people, they're born with like the rules and regulations imprinted. Like my sister, like, she's such a well-rounded good person. I've never been that. Like, I was born without a fucking clue. And like, I have this friend that I met in primary school, we're still friends to this day. She was born with the rules and regulations implemented in her brain. And again, I wasn't. Like, I have had to make a mistake at every single step of my existence to learn what's right and wrong. It's insane. I'm so but I do think it lends to being an interesting person, and I do think that I've had a lot of fun and hurt minimal people in the process, so it's fine. But you know, there's obviously a difference. Like, are you causing other people problems with your issues, that then that's a different subject. But some people, they seem to just know, others we don't. And like, a baby's never gonna know the stove is hot unless they fucking touch it. Like, their mum can tell them that's hot like a million times, and they're not gonna know till they touch it. That's why every kid burns their hand on the fucking stove at least once. Like, you have to learn, because most people, even if they're told like right from wrong, even if they're told don't date idiot boys, don't date, you know, it's like the don't date the bad boy type of thing, most people still fucking do. Why? It's just like the hot stove. Like, you just fucking need to touch it, and then maybe you're like me and you're gonna do it 3 more times till you get it. Maybe you're like my friends who are more well-rounded and they'll, you know, touch the stove with the tip of their finger and then be like, oh, that's not for me, I didn't like that, that hurt, I'm gonna go date someone healthy and have a happy life. Or maybe you're like me and you need to shove your whole hand directly onto the stove for about 3 minutes before your brain computes, this hurts. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, that I was gonna cry over someone cheating on me because I let myself get cheated on, more than I'm gonna cry about the fact that like they cheated on me. There is so much badness in this world. And I feel like people are more aware of that now than ever, because it's in your face 24/7 on any social media app. Like, you are seeing like the horrors of the world right in video format. It's insane. So that is out there. if you want to go partake in it, you can. If you want it to affect you negatively, and I'm not just saying like you watch the video and you feel sad and hopeless, I'm saying if you want to go actively be part of that. If you want to go be a kid that is tortured, you also can do that. It's out there. Like, badness is out there, and there is nothing innately protecting you from it. Like, your mother can do as much as she can, your dad can do as much as he can, but when it comes down to it, like, there's really very little stopping if you decide that that's going to be in your life. I think it is possible, but I think very rarely people are intelligent enough or sinister enough to genuinely not give you a warning sign of who they are, right? More often than not, they are going to give you a warning sign. Whether or not you listen to it is a completely different case. I guess ultimately it's a choice. Like, are you going to live a healthier life even if it sucks at the start? Or are you not going to do that? Like, it's a binary fucking choice. It really is. I remember I kind of learned the hard way at the dentist one time. When I was 14, I was fucking literally terrified of getting the dentist, or going to the dentist, to the point that no dentist could touch me. Like, I would just scream and howl. So they referred me to this like specialist dentist for like kids with issues, I guess, because they kind of knew how to like restrain a child. That was the ethos of this dentist. It wasn't a very nice place. So I get sent to this like specialist dentist, and again, I refuse to let them touch my mouth. And they try pinning me down. They try injecting me. I'm like, get the fuck away from me. I'm literally screaming bloody murder. And they let me go because I think I just took up all their time and they needed to like move on to the next child. So then they refer me further into the children's hospital, where I end up going for a anesthetic surgery, like when they fully knock you out, so that they could fix my mouth. Now, when this whole process started, like when I kicked the first dentist, I needed like one filling. Like, that's the only work I needed. By the time I got to the hospital and was getting my surgery for my teeth, I had like 4 fucking teeth removed, like 4 fillings put in, like a bunch of shit done. Like, I'm still suffering from that dental work to this day because like all of my molars, all of them have fillings in. I don't have one tooth without filling because no one was allowed to help me with my dental hygiene for years because I was too scared. At some point, I figured out, okay, either I don't have to go to the dentist or my teeth rot. It is literally that simple. There is no in-between. The in-between is going and getting fucking fully knocked out for surgery that takes up a day of your life, risks your health in massive ways, costs a bunch of money, and generally fucking sucks. Also, that's not always going to be a available choice to you. Like, you can't rely on that being a present choice. Also, it takes like a year to get through the waiting list, so your teeth are going to fucking fall out anyways. Like, and then the next time I had to go to the dentist, I must have been like maybe 16 or something. Not only did I sit in the chair and get my fillings done, but I didn't, like, it just wasn't even a question to me of like, you can sit in the chair, and then they get the numbing needle and they're like wielding it in front of your face and you'll be like, no, wait. Or like when you're getting a piercing, they're like, you 1, 2, 3, and you're like, wait, no, like, don't do it yet. Like, there are only so many times you can say, wait, no. Like, are you gonna get the fucking thing or not? Like, it's a binary choice. Anything in between that is an illusion. You can do it or you don't. And so obviously I chose to go to the fucking dentist. And there was a lot more that went into it than just that. But that realization was valuable to me. And then also I went to therapy. So, you know, duh. But like, so you can be better and you can hold yourself accountable and you can start to make healthy choices. Or you could just not. And you could just stay where the fuck you are and you can keep getting cheated on and you can keep getting treated by like shit. And the thing is, no, it's never your fault. Like, when someone treats you poorly, that is on them. It is their fault. They are unhealed. They don't love themselves. They don't have the capacity to love you. They are wounded, bless their little hearts, traumatized. God knows what's wrong with them, little soul. Leave them to do their fucking thing. Don't hate them, just like that. It's their problem. Like, don't even fucking think about why they are the way they are or who the fuck they are. Just leave them. It's not your problem. Your problem is you. Why did you accept that treatment? Why did you let that person into your life when they were exhibiting red flags? Like, why were you ever in a position to be hurt by that person? What have you not healed from? What was attractive about them to you? Why did you ignore their red flags? Did you see their red flags? Did you even notice them? Do you need to fucking research red flags? Like, what was it that made you accessible to such a shit person and such poor behavior? Look into it. You can make mistakes, and your mistake is a fresh, like, the first time you make a mistake, you have progressed in life because you've learned something, and that's wonderful. And you're in a new place, and it's gonna look different and smell different. It's like going into a new field. Oh, this is new. That's good. You're meant to have made that mistake, but when you've made it like 5 times, you're not in a fucking new field anymore, you're in the same one. So don't beat yourself up the first few times you make a mistake, because it's progressing you. Nothing ever puts you backwards in life, right? You only move forwards. It's not possible to move back, but it is possible to stay in the same fucking spot. Or love yourself enough to go check out another fucking field. My field analogy is weird, it's because I'm parked in the middle of the woods. Sorry. So no, it wasn't your fault what they did to you. Forget them, like, take them out of the equation. There are so many reasons people do shit things, and none of them have anything to do with you, so it's none of your worry as to why they've behaved that way. I do this thing where when people treat me like shit, I view them as a little innocent baby, and I start to feel really bad for them, and I'll literally sit and cry about it. Like, I can't yell at anybody, I can't be angry at people for more than 5 minutes, and even when I'm angry at someone, it's not anger, I was even talking about this with my therapist. It's like, there's a distinction between, like, anger and frustration for me, and I don't even know when the last time I was, like, angry was. Like, I'm frustrated most of the time, more than I'm ever angry. And what I do when I feel that way is I picture them as a little baby, and I'm like, they're just innocent, they didn't mean to hurt me, and they didn't know, and I just don't want to make anybody feel bad, even if they've just literally committed a fucking crime to me. And it's my worst trait, because I just sit and I feel bad for people as if they're not adults who can fucking hold themselves accountable. Like, they can. By the way. They can. Like, they're fine. And if you tell them to go suck a dick, they will survive. Like, if you're like me and you feel bad for people, stop it. Stop it now, because they will be fine. I don't know. I feel like it's definitely a constant thing that you have to work on with yourself. And you have to care. You have to want to be happy. You have to think that you deserve it. And you have to be done making your mistakes. They have to get old to you, and you have to realize, okay, I can stay here, I can move on, it's binary, there's nothing else. So until you reach that point, just enjoy the process. If you're not ready to be better, you're not. Like, it's very simple. For me, I just wasn't ready for ages. I was just stuck being not a lot of anything. Like, I had other things to think about than my personal development. I was at uni, I had no fucking money, I had the shittest job ever, and I was just busy. And I was making a lot of personal life mistakes because I was busy. And now that I've had a little bit of quiet time, I'm like, maybe it's time to work on my brain because it's got maggots in it. And do a little bit of spring cleaning. Don't ever be hard on yourself. Like, if you've treated someone like shit, if you've been the bad person, don't beat yourself up for that. Don't ever be too mean to yourself. I think if you're mean to yourself about the bad shit that you've done, it manifests and just creates a string of bad behavior from you and the people around you. My personal experience with this would be, I once did a bad thing. I know, unbelievable. And it was a really bad thing. And I carry, to this day, so much shame about that thing. And I've only recently realized that because of the shame that I carried about this one thing that I did so many years ago, I think I deserve less. And so I genuinely am in this cycle of being in horrible situations and bad relationships and just generally being self-sabotaging in the realm of, like, my personal relationships, because I cannot, genuinely, I do not believe I deserve better until I've, like, repented for this thing that I did. And I don't know how I can repent any more than I already have, and I don't know how I can be any more sorry than I already am. There's nowhere else for me to go, so I just continue to punish myself. And that's kind of an extreme case, and I don't want people to suddenly think I'm an evil, terrible person, like, oh my god, what did she do? But, like, there's something I did that I cannot agree with. I was so wrong, and it's so strange. It's such a strange situation whenever I think about it, because I was so young, and there's 100 excuses I could sit here and make for like why I did that thing and why it doesn't matter and why it's like nothing to do with me now and yada yada yada, but that's just not how I think or how I feel. And I realized that one mistake is manifesting to this day in the way I treat people, the relationships that I get into, the friendships that I have. Not so much the friendships that I have. My friendships are actually really healthy. I don't know why I get into such bad romantic relationships when I literally have such an ability to have healthy female friendships. Like, why can't I just date someone that I would also be friends with? Like, it's that fucking... If you've done something bad and you know that it's bad, you just have to prove to yourself that that's not what you would do now. And then you know that you're a different person and that you've grown, and you can forgive yourself for what you did, hopefully. Like, obviously, if you've done something genuinely heinous, like, I don't know, you fucking killed someone, like, okay, maybe when I'm not talking to you, I'm talking about, like, you fucked someone over, or, like, you know that you hurt somebody really bad, or, like, you did something that is then out of your control because you hurt another person, so you can't fix it, because then they're on their own journey of healing or doing whatever they need to do to feel better. That can manifest in so much guilt. And I often think about whether my ex feels like this, because they've really, really hurt me. And I definitely made it quite known that I was very hurt. Like, and 100 times I've wanted to sit down with her and have dinner or coffee and just apologize to her almost for being sad, because I'm like, I don't want you to punish yourself. Maybe you deserve punishment, maybe you do, and what you did was insane and unforgivable, but I don't want you to suffer because of me, because I then might as well have done something bad to you, and that is a mentally ill way of thinking, I'm 99% sure. But bro, like, we're on this earth so incredibly briefly, and I really don't ever want to leave a negative impact. If I was to die tomorrow, which is it's not probable, but it's very possible. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want anything negative left behind, and sometimes I feel like there is, but I was the one that was hurt. It makes no sense, but I don't know. I hope she doesn't I hope she holds herself accountable without punishing herself, because that's more than possible. And if you're a person who has found themselves to feel like a bad person, or have done something that they shouldn't have done, or hurt someone they wish they didn't hurt, you don't have to punish yourself, but you do have to hold yourself accountable and not repeat that same mistake, and grow as a person to the point where you are certain that the version of you that exists now would never behave like that, and is not in agreement with the way that you behaved previously. That's how you know you've grown, and that's when you can kind of afford yourself forgiveness, and then you can move on. For some reason, I'm really struggling to forgive myself for this one fucking thing, and I feel like until I do, I'm probably just gonna be stuck in a bit of like a cycle that I've been in. But that is everything I have to say. I probably missed like 100 points that I wanted to make, because it's weird. It's probably because I'm not wearing my fucking headphones, but when I start talking, I don't hear myself. Like, I don't know what I'm saying. And then I watch the podcast back when I'm like editing, and I'm like, why did I make like 100 better points? Like, I didn't even mean half the shit that I say. I hope you guys are all okay. And regardless of what you're going through, whether you have let yourself get fucked over, whether you have fucked someone else over, love yourself. You're fine. You're okay. Like, you're not a bad person if you've done something wrong, and you're not an idiot if you've let someone do you wrong. Life is so short. Dude, even sometimes you have to think of people as like their higher selves. Like, if you could speak to their like spirit, like the all-knowing version of themselves. I'm not religious, by the way, but if you could speak to their like spirit, right, after this lifetime is over, their spirit, I guarantee you, would not want you to be angry at yourself. Suffering is never the intention of our experience on earth. Only lessons. And if you learn via suffering, that's good, but every lesson is meant to end so the next one can begin. So don't prolong your own pain. Feel what the universe kind of hands you, and once it's not handing it to you anymore, don't force yourself to feel it. You don't have to, because that's just dumb. You have to move on to the next thing. And the next thing could be joy. And if it is, then you deserve it. I don't know if that makes sense. It's kind of my personal opinion. Oh, by the way, I got my car fixed. Do you hear how silently this baby is fucking running? Yeah, it's because I fixed her. I took her to MOT. She failed. I knew she would. I told them that she was gonna fail before I brought her in so that they would schedule out the time to work on her for me. And then she was fixed within 2 days. Yeah, I paid £366. She's perfect condition. Well, perfect is generous, but road safe for another year. It's about as close as she's ever gonna get to perfect. All right, I'm going home. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you next week. Bye.